Hello and thanks for joining the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Kano High Court nullifies creation of 4 emirates in the state, declares Emir appointment and deposition law by Assembly illegal. PDP vows to challenge outcome of Bayelsa KOGI governorship elections in court, says no issue with former President Jonathan. And later on the show, Edo APC National Assembly caucus passes vote of confidence on OSHOMHOLE, insists Governor OBASEKI issues fresh proclamation on State Assembly. I'll be hanging out with Martins OLOJA and Shola Ojewusi. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. The last has certainly not been heard about the tripartite conflict pitching together the governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, the State House of Assembly, and the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi. The court has waded in and a decision has been made. The State High Court nullified the Emir Appointment and Deposition Law 2019, established by the State House of Assembly. By implication, the court presides over by Justice Usman Na'abba declared creation of 4 new emirates in Kano as illegal and unconstitutional. For now, the Kano Emirates and the Emir Sanusi seem to be winning. Or what do you think, gentlemen? Martins, let's look at it from where it started. As at the last time, we had these 4 new emirates created apparently to checkmate the influence and the larger-than-life, stature of the Emir of Kano, that's Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. Now, the State House of Assembly actually passed a law to that effect, and it is unique when you see that after the State House of Assembly and another arm of government might have passed the law, and Sanusi went to court, approached the Emir, approached the courts, and the State House of Assembly is now saying no. The court is now saying no, nullifying that law, then scrapping, by implication, scrapping the Emirates. I think this is not the last of this case. Yeah. I'm sure the Kano State government will want to go further to appeal this.
Yes, it's another paradox that we should not laugh about. The influence of judiciary in establishing and even destroying, in adjudicating, in deciding mandates of even our elected people. We discussed it, and I think Ijide referred to what I said earlier, and the implications are glaring now in leadership recruitment, in political recruitment of our leaders. In the same vein, you see the one of Kano now. You see judiciary, the judicial arm of government is beginning to dictate how our institutions, traditional institutions, should be established, and it's a very worrisome thing. If the state government and the traditional institutions cannot build some consensus around how the traditional institutions should be, I think we the people are failing in another aspect of our governance system, because the traditional institutions are very old institutions. Those institutions are even older than our democracies. And they have procedures for establishing all these things. And if they are doing this thing, and then the one that is on the throne, whose kingdom has been somehow restructured, is not satisfied, and the governor, as I said when the last time I commented on this thing here, that the governor did something unique, despite everything, that he did not do it arbitrarily. He went to the state legislature. So the action of the State High Court now is against a law established by the state legislature. But as you said, it is not, we haven't had the last of this. It will still go to Court of Appeal, and it may last till so many years before Supreme Court will decide
the final decision.
This thing. Even the current governor may not even be, be there when it is decided, because traditional issues, most of the time, 20 years, 30 years after, because the higher courts are reluctant in just disrupting things like that, just like the family issues, marriage. They'll be appealing. They don't want to get involved. But from the way they are getting involved in establishing mandates and disrupting mandates here and there, they may want to do something as quickly as possible. But it is not a good development. We should be having, we should be discussing issues that affect our development immediately. Issues around democracy, democratization, issues around our economy, issues around our institutions that strengthen the democracy, and all those things.
Okay, Shola, apparently the allegation against the Emir was that he delved into politics and they saw his hands, that during that election, he was actively in support of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, and Abdullahi Ganduje is from the All Progressive Congress, and you don't expect him to,
to just sit down.
Yeah. And when Abdullahi Ganduje won his re-election, you saw what happened, the palace and everything, and Sanusi Lamido saw it coming, because a lot of people will say, as a traditional ruler, it would have been a father for all, both for PDP and APC and all the other parties.
Yeah, he saw it coming, and the fallout of seeming intervention of a traditional ruler, supposedly neutral, in that will definitely elicit the kind of reaction you got from the state government. But I want to look beyond that, Ayo. Kano is one of the, when you talk in terms of the history of northern Nigeria, Kano has a very rich history. And the Emir is a very strong symbol of that history from time immemorial. You're talking of something that goes back thousands of years. One of the greatest things that made Kano a historical city is that kind of institution that you have there, the monarchy there. It has really been a part and a parcel of the rich history of Kano. Now, I just want to let the politicians and even the royal house to understand that whatever they do now regarding that particular history, they will be judged by history, because what is happening tends to bring down that kind of pedigree. We read a lot about the history of Kano as an emirate, a commercial center, going back to the days of the Almoravids, all those things you got in history. Now, when this kind of thing is happening to such a very strong historical institution, then we have to be wary. We have to let the politicians know that, yes, there are things that you want to do as politicians, but they have to look beyond that and look into the future.
So what are you talking about? It's just like something that happened in Ibadan.
Yes.
And they feel that, okay, the Alafi, did they call it? No, not Alafi. The Olubadan.
Yes.
That Ibadan is so big that, okay, let's have Ajimobi during his own time. We went to go and have
but you know what?
And the Kano State government
was it? Let's look at the spirit behind the action. Was it really because of what? I mean, whether it was too big or because of what they believe was the action? Was it not done? Is it really something done because they felt they wanted it to help the city, or because of personal interest, the vested interest involved? Those are the things
the question we should ask is that, do they have the power to do that?
Yes, they have the power. But the issue now is, can we really blame the court for also exercising its own particular powers? Because the court is the ombudsman in this situation. Do we have to blame the court for now coming in? Somebody went to court, he has his days in court, and the court has to make a decision. Now, a decision has been done. Those people also have their own days in court. Like he said, you're going to the appeal court, you still have the powers or the right to get to the Supreme Court. But what I'm saying, I know there are things that are legal in this situation. But what is the implication of all these tussles to that particular institution? That's my question. Is it going to help that rich history when I don't have, you know, when like we said right from this the beginning, the Emir of Kano knew the implication of having to meddle in the political situation there. Such things, it happened in Oyo. The former Alafin of Oyo, before the current Alafin, had to be deposed. It happened in Owo. Sorry, your place. Days, yeah. In those days, all these places.
I think it happened in
Akure too. Yeah.
So,
so many places.
Just recently, I think the Supreme Court intervened in that of Ofa. Some people were even raising the issue. Yes, these are things that they've been happening. But what impact? That is my question. What impact does this particular intervention have on that particular institution? Does it really help that kind of pedigree we know about Kano as a historical place? Kano is known all over the world historically. Is it helping it? That's the question I'm raising.
Ultimately, when you look at the implication of the status quo, maintaining the status quo, but the influence of Lamido Sanusi might have been whittled down. You go to Kano from time to time. Yes. What are the people, the subjects? What are they saying?
You know, the subjects are following people. If you get there, it depends on people you are talking to or the party you are talking to. If you get there, they will talk to you about the excesses of the Emir. If you talk to another party, they will say, oh, the governor didn't do well. But you know, so many of us talking about this thing do not know the history, the rich history is talking about. I think a very remarkable statement he made about preservation of our culture and that sacred institution. And you know, democracy and disruptive technologies have arrived now to do a lot of damage to the way we were and the way we should be. And the way to do this is to get political leaders and even traditional rulers to swallow their pride and vanity. The role they play in disrupting our institutions, even institutions of democracy. The way people are behaving, one, not adhering to the letter and spirit of the Constitution. The way they also do not regard even state laws. The way they do not regard even rules and regulation. When you discuss sports here every day, you see the fluency in the way people discuss this and the way things go well. It is because that the rule of the game guides that game and makes it beautiful. And they give power to the referees. And the even AVR, it is still somebody who decides the verdict and says, no, this is a goal or this is not a goal. You see the way the Western world there is nothing extraordinary about them, but there is something significant about the way they run their institutions. They allow the rules to rule. They allow the law to rule, not man, not just one man. Once they have given power to an institution, once they have empowered through the provisions of the law, the law officers, the law enforcement agencies follow it. Prosecutors, even in church, will not bring extraneous factors. They follow it. That is what makes their institutions to be strong. Therefore, his own remark too about talking to our political leaders and traditional rulers to be law-abiding and be disciplined in executing some of these things will help even our institutions to grow, because one of the reasons our institutions are not enjoying public support is the way the institutions are not allowed to even run as institutions. The rule of law that we talk about has become like a cliche. The rule of law is the most powerful element in building institutions, in building democracy, in getting our institutions to run as institutions. The law must rule. Not men ruling all the time. Some of these people have become bigger than the law. They are bigger than the state and all those things. So the political leaders and traditional rulers should adhere strictly to those things, those elements that had made traditional institutions to be very strong. And those traditional rulers too, who are in power, should also be humble enough. Do not feel that they are bigger than the state and bigger than the law, establishing this thing and say that, oh, we are bigger than this, there must be somebody in charge of a state.
Yeah, I
this
agree.
year's Doba was even distracted and
You know,
wasn't
the pride of Kano. You know, when you sometimes go to Kano for tourism,
Yeah.
Dobas,
A wonderful
the
state.
Salah celebrations, that kind of unity of purpose, when you see even the governor during Salah celebration paying homage to the Emir, the traditions that have been there over centuries and have been reenacted over and over again over the years, that is being put in danger when those things that used to make Kano rich, not only economically as a commercial center, but also as a historical, culturally, great city, can be affected by the wranglings.
You're infighting.
You know, a divided
the last
Kano.
Doba did not hold
did
You
not
know,
because of the
it's not good. It's not good for, you know, when Kano sneezes, sometimes, historically, culturally, economically, the whole nation also, I mean, when Kano catches cold,
Cold, yes.
the whole
When
nation
the
sneezes
Kano
too.
sneezes,
Because
the
one way or
nation catches cold.
you know, one way or the other, whether we like it or not, Kano may seem to be 1,000 kilometers away, but it affects part of what we call the Nigerian superstructure. Our heritage is in danger because if you don't do Dobas again, what do you feel about that kind of glorious thing you see in Kano that makes you want to go there as a tourist? You know, I have a lot of friends from Kano, and I know some of the things. You know, it's always good for them to say we are Bakani. That means we are the people of Kano. A Kano man proudly says that I am Bakani, not just because of anything, but because of the institution, because of the tradition of that particular area. Then when all these things are being put in danger, then they have to think, the leaders from the political side, from the traditional institution side, and from the side of the people. Let me tell you something I read today. There was also an individual that went to court, not just the from the royal house or whatever. An individual also went to challenge.
Okay,
that
I think I have my first caller.
Okay.
Farouk is calling us. Thank you for joining us, Farouk.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good evening to you, Farouk. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Good evening. Please, I want to make my own comment on the topic you are discussing. On
Okay,
the
from KEBBI State.
Kano.
Okay, go ahead, please.
But I want to call on all the political leaders, religious leaders, and all opinion leaders in the North especially, to intervene in this issue of Kano tussle. Because it's not going to all go well for either the government or the traditional institution. And for those of us in the North, we see Kano as a role model for all traditional rulers, religious institutions. So we expect religious leaders, political leaders, all that are concerned about the North, to please come together and intervene and let them resolve this issue amicably so that it will not cause further division. We have enough division in the North, so that it will not lead to further division in northern Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Farouk. Thank you for your contribution. Now, the way when he was CBN governor, when he was in First Bank, when he was CBN governor, he was more of an activist. And you can't take that away from that man.
Yes.
I remember his days in CBN. There was a time that he wore even this turban.
You're still bringing that to the
Now, the bottom line is that there's no how you can stop him from talking, that you can gag him. Because we talk, it's so brilliant. It talks about the economy, it talks about Kano State, talks about, so many other things. And when you look at him, when you look at the Sultan of Sokoto, a balancing factor, he hardly talks, and anytime he wants to talk, he's like a father of all and everything, that figure. And you think about people like Oni of Ife, they can't afford to criticize government publicly, they can write to them, they can advise them, but the way they carry themselves and everything. But he has criticized the Buhari government, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. He has severely criticized the government of Abdullahi Ganduje. And they're looking at it that this does not befit the Emir of Kano, that gesture. Do you think there's anything wrong in Sanusi Lamido being vocal as a traditional ruler?
My opinion, with due respect, is that he knew the implications of assuming that office. He knew. You see, no matter your brilliance, no matter your pedigree, no matter when you occupy certain office, even as a newspaper editor, there are certain mannerisms as a reporter that you can no longer display because of the office you occupy. One, it's not the only one. Even the Obi of Onitsha is a very well-known business tycoon, very educated. Even the Oni of Ife you are talking about, and even the Sultan of Sokoto you mentioned, a retired military officer, you know, and very well-known. But look at the way, you know, when you want, there is power in the word of a traditional ruler like that. The Emir of Kano, as we will call him, it's not just, oh, because he was CBN governor, he was this one, he was a risk manager, and in UBA in the First Bank, he was a managing director of even First Bank, he was central bank governor. But when you occupy that office, that you have...
Okay, I have this call from Lagos.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Jimon, okay, go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yeah, thank you. I want to talk about this issue of the Oba of Kano and then the
Emir of Kano.
Yes, the Emir of Kano, yes. Thank you. What I just foresee there is that the Emir, Sanusi Lamido, as your rifleman there said, yes, I agree with him. You cannot hold his mouth, and when he sees the truth, he will say it. Yes, the man that fought even the president of the nation at that time when he was the governor of the central bank. And at the end of the day, all what he said came true. So that is my only advice for him is that I know that he has a relationship with the former governor who happened to lose the election. So that's the relation is very strong because even the man was telling Jonathan at that time that he is now the governor. I mean, he is now the Oba. I mean, the Emir that he cannot. Nobody can do anything for him. So he has to pay him the support. It's true, but he should have realized that even the man that was there also he is the governor. So as the father, he should just play a middle role between the two of them. And they settle the issues.
The position of the emirship is even under the local government.
Yeah, it's local government, yes. The local government, yes.
That is not even
it's
the
local
governor
government.
that supervises the local
that's the point I was making. That no matter what, that you have even spoken to the issue now. That is under the local government. It's a commissioner in charge of a local government in the state. The governor of the state, you know, these governors, you don't share power with them, not even their deputies share power with them. We are not saying that it's the ideal thing, but this one requires wisdom when you are dealing with people in that kind of place, especially because of the visibility of that office, because of the stature, because of the status. You do not have to talk anyhow. That you have to respect that office, that institution, and be taciturn most of the time. And when you are called to make some political statements too, sometimes you have to decline quietly, not to be able to be seen as doing this. Look at what the last speaker, the last caller said about, relationship with Kwakwanso, and he supported the candidate, being supported by Kwakwanso in Kano State. And you wouldn't do that and expect the sitting governor to keep quiet about that. That sparked off this row. That was the beginning. So this is a lesson to people who have occupied bigger positions and have accepted traditional institutions. They should know that they are under the local government council, not even the office of the governor. And they should carry themselves with grace that will also elicit some respect from the people.
Shola, I don't think this will be the end of this saga.
No. I believe, but
you know, the Assembly will say they passed those laws and it went through public hearing, it went through all the process, of passing, amending a law.
But I hope if you're going to follow the procedures, yes, they can even get as far as the Supreme Court. But like the person who called from KEBBI, I think people have to, right from the Emir himself, he has a part to play in trying to be the balancing force in that state and to understand the fact that the years when the king, like they say, nobody can question him, has really gone, because we are in a kind of, even in the UK, where the queen or the king used to be so powerful, the power has been so whittled down by the constitution that the king knows when to, though the dues, the rights, everything belonging to the king, the queen are accorded her. But she knows her onions. She knows when, she doesn't even intervene. With what has been happening with Brexit, what has been happening between, the queen has been a quiet force. Even though there might have been some undertones, but you don't see her coming out. The Emir too must understand that politicians are a very funny lot. And they have a way of flexing their muscles. And there is nothing you can do about it because they are banned, they are supported by the law and the constitution. But sometimes too, you know, they say power is nothing without control. Those in charge of power too should know, in the interest of what we said earlier, what will happen to Kano as a city, as a part of the great Nigerian history, if we continue to do what we are doing. KEBBI, man from KEBBI said, let the people come together and reach a common ground and resolve it. I think that's the situation we should plead for concerning Kano.
All right, still to come. PDP vows to challenge outcome of BAYELSA KOGI governorship elections in court. Say no issue with former President Jonathan. So we'll be right back after this time out. Please stay with us. If you're just joining us, you're right on time to the multi-award-winning program, Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria, Television Continental. Though the governorship elections in Bayelsa and Kogi states have been concluded, the struggle for the control of the two states is far from over. The battle is about to shift to the courts. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has vowed to challenge the outcome of last Saturday's governorship elections in both states in court. Speaking on the outcome of the NWC meeting on Wednesday, the PDP National Publicity Secretary Kola Ologbodiyan said the party took the decision after weighing circumstances that surrounded the election. Ologbodiyan said the party has no plan to suspend former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan from the party for his alleged romance with APC during the election. Let's get this clear, Martins.
Romance.
I don't know how established what happened along the line and how did Dixon, because I'm sure Timi Pire Silva, the Minister of Petroleum Resources now, was actually denied his second-time tickets.
Yes.
And they had one man from the House of Representatives, that's Dixon. At what point in time did Dixon, had to part ways with Jonathan, his political godfather?
No, nobody knows at what point, but you know that Seriake Dixon has even called himself the white shark. That is a way that they call it locally, like that. That cannot be controlled, that he's not afraid of any kind of, any other maybe big fish in the ocean there. He's not afraid. So you set the tone now by saying that Timi Pire Silva was also denied the second time, because Seriake Dixon had to be governor from the House of Representatives. And this same Jonathan, as president, was the one who actually set the building blocks for the installation and eventual election of Seriake Dixon as governor of Bayelsa State. And you will see the reports, the reports of this, the primaries and everything that Jonathan was reported to, former President Jonathan was said to have actually prepared a particular candidate, specifically.
David Lyon.
Yes.
Timi Alebe,
yes. Recommended him, and later everything went haywire, and then Seriake had to have his own man, and he said so. Also, you recall that the same President Jonathan earlier denied Alaibe. When he had the opportunity of getting Alaibe to be governor, he did not. He even removed Alaibe from his office as
NDDC.
Yes, NDD, as a special advisor on Niger Delta matter and this amnesty. Yes.
Okay. Replace him with Kingsley Kuku.
Yes, with
Kingsley
Kuku. Yes. This same Jonathan,
Not
the
much.
way they play this politics in the place. But people felt that because of the way this same President Jonathan, the former President Jonathan, denied Temipre Silva, who is now minister in charge of
State for Petroleum Resources.
Yes, State for Petroleum Resources. That one has a godfather around the same place, Dr. Edmond Daokoru, who had earlier appointed Temipre Silva as SA to him as petroleum Minister of State Petroleum Resources. So Temipre Silva is not new to that ministry, as many reporters have not actually reported. And one of those names that we will have mentioned as a very influential and educated traditional ruler who has also been very quiet.
Dakoro.
Yes, Dakoro. In Bayelsa State. Be that as it may, and I think what is playing out there now is the way PDP as a party, beyond Jonathan, beyond all those ones we are talking about people. They also did not respect the rule of their own game. If they could not build consensus, I wrote the word here, they couldn't build consensus around their candidate, the governor became bigger than the party, bigger than former president, bigger than everybody, and he said he wanted to go his own way. And there were also facts that have been confirmed that even a former president sent a former national security advisor to appeal to him to abide by the party's decision to sponsor the particular person. He agreed, the governor agreed, and when by the time the former national security got back to Kaduna, the man had changed his mind. The rest, as we say, is history. So the party should have learned some lessons from the way the ruling party even lost some states in the last general election. They lost some because of the way they mismanaged their primaries, the choices that they made them to lose some states like that. And this is exactly what has happened. The National Publicity Secretary is doing his job by saying we are not going to do this. Yes, this is what we are complaining about, but this is what sustains the same democracy. You are aggrieved instead of carrying cutlasses, machetes, and bows. What you do, go to court. That's what the president seems even to be advising people to do. And then when we complain about that kind of thing here before, that the target of these politicians now is just do whatever is politically possible to be declared winner. We leave the rest to...
They will go to court.
Yes,
The courts.
and we will fight in court. And it's worrisome.
But I don't think anybody can substantiate it that President Jonathan might have worked directly with the All Progressive Congress beyond those governors that went to go and vote for him. But when you look at his local government, or where local government, the APC won there, and everybody...
I think the body language of the former president also, if he didn't go directly, I think it worked. Because I have some friends there who told me that the people were waiting for the election to come, even before that election, that they were not happy because they felt the leader was disgraced. And on that note, I think, like Mr. OLOJA said, you know, when the man in front stumbles upon a tree stump, the people following at the back should have learned from that experience. We knew what happened in Zamfara, what happened in Rivers. Were these people thinking because it happened to the opposition party, they would not have the same kind of experience? All the indices of failure could be seen walking freely on the streets before the election. They were glaring.
Does it have anything to do with the performances of the governor?
Sometimes, sometimes in politics
office
in Nigeria, it goes beyond performance. You also have to know how to build consensus. No matter how good you are or how hardworking you are, if you don't know how to carry the people along, if you begin to tend towards the image of an arrogant person, people will fight back. Where arrogance supersedes performance, then the result is what we are seeing on the ground. So on the note, a lot of that, like you said, there was no consensus. And when the house is falling, when the house is divided against itself, then you expect the outsider to take over. Things were begging, that this is what is going to happen, especially in Bayelsa, But this, if I think it's a lesson, and those who are writing our political history should also have this as part of what they teach the future generation of people, that in politics, there is no winner takes all. And when you believe you are the winner, and when you believe you are maybe the white shark, remember that beyond the white shark, there may be a leviathan or what do we call the blue whale standing somewhere or be swimming ahead somewhere that can easily turn back and swallow the white shark. And I think that's what really happened, if we are going to use that kind of metaphor to describe what happened.
Specifically from the fact he was giving about, you said no evidence, but we saw the mother. We read that the mother. The former president's mother, prayed fervently for the success of the APC candidate in Bayelsa State. And the wife of the president did not even hide her own bias, her own...
Our hotel was like the base.
The base for
the bottom line is the house of Jonathan felt slighted by the shenanigans.
Yes, and they felt that yes, their father.
They felt slighted. And that's why you have the Ogba land, all those places. They decided to really come out en masse and support. As a message, I don't want to even look at it as maybe it was a rejection of the PDP. There were a lot of factors that played to work together to create the kind of result we got.
KOGI states now.
Yes.
PDP, they're saying that they will go to court, they will approach courts to go and pursue their case and everything.
Is that right?
Yes.
Let them go. It's even good because rather than, let me go back to what happened. There were some disturbing things that happened in that state. Like the women leader of one of the parties that had to be burnt alive. I think that is too barbaric for this kind of Nigeria we are in today. So, but rather than have to take to the streets and be burning houses and doing this, why not recourse? Let's have the legal recourse. Let the judges, let the courts decide. At least you will know that you've had your day in court, which is normal. It is allowed, Just like we are seeing in the US, the president is being put in the spotlight, rather than deciding to maybe go violent about certain things. If you don't agree, go through the normal channels as spelled down by the constitution of the country. So they have the right, go to the appeal court, let it be decided by the Supreme Court. But what happens is, let the soul of KOGI State, let it have a kind of peace. I think that state needs to settle down because whether we like it or not, the development is suffering.
Ultimately.
This KOGI State thing,
yes.
It's tragic because that woman was killed after the announcement of the election result. The woman, nobody, they were just celebrating all over the place. According to the video recording, they were celebrating. They got there, they did what they could do. An eyewitness account said that they called security agencies, but there was no response and all those. After the result of the election, why should somebody have to lose? A woman had to lose her life.
Okay, I have a caller from Delta State. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Edwin.
Sir, thank you. I can hear you, sir.
All right, go ahead with your contribution, Edwin.
Okay, sir, please, I thank God for getting people today on air. My first time of calling journalists angered. Sir. Okay. See, I want to say about this our election in Nigeria. Please, for crying out loud, our political observers, journalists, political analysts, I want you people to be sincere to your conscience while analyzing what is going on in this country. Because tomorrow, you will give account of everything you have contributed or you did in life. This government is leading us nowhere. There is a president in this country. Look at the SDP secretariat in Lokoja that was burnt. That woman, the PDP woman leader that was burnt. Is it not enough to cancel the election? If Buhari said he wants to fight corruption, if Buhari is that leader we are truly looking for.
Yeah.
Well, Edwin, just to set the record straight here, the responsibility of cancelling or affirming election belongs solely to the Independent National Electoral Commission. And as the name implies, they're independent. I don't know, but for me, I feel it has nothing to do with President Buhari. President Buhari wasn't on ground in KOGI or BAYELSA.
The law doesn't empower him to do that.
When he begins to do that, even
So we have to inform them. Our responsibility is to inform the public here on bias or censored. So if it's Buhari, we'll tell you. I know. If it's Buhari, we'll tell you that it's President Buhari. But for this one,
responsibility.
Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, that is his name. So that is the man to be held responsible for anything that has to do with the conduct of the election. And we're still looking forward to hear a comprehensive, report from INEC about what happened in both states.
Even in addition to that, according to the law, once a result is announced, the INEC itself has no power to reverse itself. It has to be the court. The INEC itself, once it is announced, cannot reverse itself. It has to be the court that can cancel that same election result.
And I think they've taken that road to see if they can get the courts to change the course of what we have.
That is what we are discussing here. Yeah. And as I was saying about KOGI State, very, very unfortunate that for two staggered elections, not general election, we had to record this kind of violence, loss of life, and what have you. It is the same thing, and we hold our political leaders responsible. The way they manage the primaries, the way they manage these primaries all over the place, choice of this thing. Because even as we were saying this about Bayelsa State, there is a way we also saw what two former governors in KOGI State, the role they played as members of the PDP. Even one wanted his son to be the next governor. And then later, the son did not succeed. And then another one wanted his own brother to succeed the current governor, who they wanted to be denied second term. And people will be wondering, what happened? Is it only the families of these two former governors that should be the role they play in not looking at it? They have got some lesson to learn. It is not enough to say that we are from the majority tribe in a state that is multifaceted like that, like KOGI State, where they have multi-ethnic group state like KOGI. Look at the way they mismanaged everything, and it led to so many of these things like that. And I think we need to speak truth to such powers in the state that they should not be looking in the direction of their families alone at all times.
All right, Martin, we have to move on now. The commotion in the Edo State chapter of the All Progressive Congress, APC, continues to take different forms rather than abating. Earlier, the Edo APC National Assembly CAUCUS passed a vote of confidence on the party national chairman, that is Comrade Adams Aliyu OSHOMHOLE. Speaking with newsmen in Abuja on behalf of his colleagues, Deputy Leader of the House of Representatives, that Peter Akpatasin, said the APC national chairman is doing well and has just won 2 tough elections for the party. They also asked the state governor, Godwin Obaseki, to issue another proclamation as stipulated in the constitution for proper inauguration of the 24 elected members of the state assembly. Let's hear Comrade Peter Akpatasin. He used to be the NUPENG president one time like that.
We decided as responsible parliamentarians duly elected by our constituents to speak out and restate the following. 1. That we, the APC caucus in National Assembly, hereby without hesitation express our undiluted and absolute confidence in the sterling and patriotic leadership of the national chairman of APC, Comrade Adams Aliu OSHOMHOLE, MNI, who has been doing excellently well and just won 2 tough elections, with landslides. 2, we advise Governor OBASEKI and his management to appreciate the damage they are doing to the state, the party, with their undemocratic and unorthodox political actions, and to retrace their steps forthwith.
So just saying the party structure in Abuja.
In Abuja.
Yes, the party structure in Abuja.
Yes.
That's the House of Representatives and the senators.
Yes.
Yes, they pitch their tent naturally with the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress. Okay. Talk to me.
I heard a committee was set up to possibly intervene, to be led by the former governor of Oyo State. I think
that's
they should,
Abiola
Ajimobi, yes. I hope such steps would be necessary to see how the problem in Edo will be solved.
But
because,
frankly,
yes,
don't you think they've gotten to like a point of no return in this crisis?
But then, if when you get to a point of no return, then you should be ready for the Bayelsa example, the Zamfara example, the Rivers example. Nothing is cast in stone. Edo should be wary. Well, like there's a Yoruba proverb: when death kills your maybe your friend, it's like a proverb to you that one day it's also going to happen to you. It's a proverb to you. It's a message that be wary, your own time is coming. If what is happening is in Bayelsa now, we just spoke about the kind of disconnect that led to the breakdown of what has been there since 1999. PDP ruled from 1999 till today, before the superstructure collapsed. Are we saying it's not possible in Edo? Because where there is no, whether you like it or not, OSHOMHOLE is a powerful force in Edo, but the governor too cannot be discounted because he has also been able to create a network for himself. And so when these guys are fighting, what will happen when the chips are down, when the time for election comes? So whether APC likes it or not, they have to reach a consensus in Edo. And Abuja is saying its own. We have not heard what is coming from Edo, perhaps tomorrow, to give a counter, to countermand what has been said.
That's the regular, that's the pattern of flow.
So if they don't stop this vicious circle, the future is bleak. Well, I'm not saying they cannot, by miracle, by whatever, APC retain Edo. But are we sure that will happen where the house is so divided
against itself?
Martins, the status quo ante bellum now is that the House of Assembly, the Governor OBASEKI went to court and the court ruled that it can't make another proclamation.
Yes.
The House of Representatives actually, and the Senate actually advised, that's the National Assembly, the governor to make fresh proclamation. And these National Assembly members from Edo states, they're also talking about fresh proclamation. And the court is saying, guys, it's not possible for the courts, for the governor to issue another fresh proclamation.
Since the court has supported his action.
So the Assembly has not been operating since that time. Do we have 4 or 5 members also sitting as Edo State House of Assembly? What will be the fate of the other members that they feel that they've been shortchanged from the equation?
I said we are talking about the details of a very big crisis now in Edo State, where the current chairman of the ruling party hails from, where he was governor. He handed over to this person. And they have discussed this. I have listened to most of the discussions here on this issue, that it is the responsibility of the of the national chairman of the party who hails from that state and who also took over from a chairman from that same state that, look, APC caucus in Edo State is critical, as he said. They are going to reply, the National Assembly people. This all over the place. You have the Abuja camp. You have the home camp. Most of the time, it leads...
No, the party is divided.
Yes, it's divided.
In Edo State, some will go and meet in General Arivare House.
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
Yes.
Yes. It's so funny.
Yes.
The man that contested against OSHOMHOLE during the second time.
Yes.
He's now the leader of the main opposition.
Yes. the home assembly members, they are there. The APC leadership in Edo State. You know, I have been a regular discussant of this. Let's restructure the federation. And there is still one significant point in the democracy that we are still practicing. Anytime anything happens, they say, go back to your ward in your state to register. They don't register anybody in Abuja, despite the rot that we are talking about. They ask you to go back to your state. See, everything about democracy is local. So what happens in Edo State is critical. Abuja people should know that this thing is not about, oh, we are making some proclamation and we are supporting from Abuja. Let them go back home and lock themselves up and come out of a room, as they were always saying in Yoruba, and they come out spitting after they have spoken truth to themselves. They need to conquer themselves. It's not to conquer themselves
after speaking the so-called truth
to themselves.
Do you still see Adams OSHOMHOLE supporting the second-time bid of Godwin Obaseki?
It appears that he has crossed the Rubicon, that he wants to insist on his own way. You know, he has been advised several times through this forum, but he hasn't come down. He has not accepted the expediency of conquering himself, of coming down, of swallowing everything, his pride at this time, to go back home and resolve the conflict in the party.
Shola,
yes.
Do you see him doing that?
They get something from
well,
Sokoto
but you know
and
what?
Rivers.
I'm surprised. OSHOMHOLE has always been, he has learnt pragmatism as a labor leader. You know, that's when things got naughty in those labor days, the heady days of labor fights, labor struggles against military government. There were times when OSHOMHOLE would go out in force, but there were also times when he would withhold, just in the interest of moving forward. Now he has to do that now, whether he likes it or not. And he said it, he should swallow his pride. If he wants to retain Edo, let me tell you, when the Abuja people were flexing their emotions in old Anambra, where the Ubas and everybody, PDP was ruling, what happened eventually? Somebody from outside came in, it became the state of APGA up to today. So if they want that kind of thing, they should know that there's somebody by the corner waiting to cash in on what is happening in Edo, and that may happen. It's not cast in stone.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Don't forget that Ezeyamu is just making his way into the All Progressive Congress, and that's like a game changer to Adams OSHOMHOLE. And let's see.
All these game changers. Every politics is local, and they have to go back home and resolve this difference that we're talking about.
In their own interest.
Politics.
Shola or Josie,
great.
I want to thank you
It's a pleasure.
for making the program today. Thank you. And Reverend Martins Oloja, the majesty of democracy.
Yeah, majesty of democracy. I always love that word.
Yes. I want to thank you. And hopefully Babajide Olade Otitoju should be around tomorrow, and that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Mayo Dili Ozubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.